SCG action. Stewie Maxfield and Wayne Campbell. Maxfield, the hometown captain, wins the toss and will kick to the left-hand side of screen. One bloke who always wins the toss, James Brayshaw.
Yes, very, very rare. Welcome to everyone on Mother's Day. And that may well be the end where the breeze is heading. Robbo's down there. We're going to cross to him shortly, but it's windy, it's raining. It's not pretty here in Sydney, but it's a big game for these two sides. Robbo, how does it look down there and where is the wind blowing?
I'll give you a little tip, fellas. It is starting to rain. The mascara and the makeup is running, and yeah, I reckon we'll be soaked by the end of the day. It's going down to the Paddington end, which is left of screen, and it is quite gusty, especially when you get around to these sheltered areas of the stand. Now, I spoke to Richo before the warm-up. He said that he's confident with his hamstring. Everything's A-OK, but there is another casualty in the Richmond lineup. Dale Waitman, the runner, is out with a calf injury. He's 45 years of age. He'll be back in about 6 weeks. And Tony Walsh, who usually sits next to Danny in the box, he's replaced him as runner for the Richmond club.
Well done there, Robbo. And Robbo must have changed his mascara brands. Normally the stuff he uses on the weekend when he's out and about doesn't run in the rain. Plan B on Barry Hall, straight away, Hall on Hall.
So a big job for the boy from Woy Woy. Big job for the Richmond Footy Club. Great win for them last week, as you mentioned, Dwayne and Dermot, but this is a whole nother prospect in Sydney against the Sydney Swans, who themselves need a win as we get ready to start this round 7 Sunday Mother's Day clash. Bounce of the footy. Otten's got a hand on there. Cracker tries to extricate it out. Fosdyke wrapped up, and we'll have another bounce. You sense there might be a little bit of this, although a free kick's been picked out. Andy Cracker, the recipient. Short chiselling ball to Hyde on the wing. He can load up on the left. Long looking for Richo. He's got it. Will turn around and kick the first goal for the Tigers. Richardson, inside the first minute in his first game back, has kicked a goal. The Tigers are off and running.
Well, they've tried to load up in front of the big sticks here. And with Hilton, Richardson and Greg Stafford all within about 10 metres of the goal square, of the actual true goal face, at the bounce down then. Stafford opposed by James. Bolton is on Richardson and Leo Barry. They're trying to replicate what Essendon did last week to Leo Barry. Such a good bouncer and runner off half back. He's picking up Hilton. They're keeping him close to goals.
First goal of the afternoon to the Tigers. Perfect start for them. Otten's against ball. Takeaway for Jude Bolton. Got it to half forward and they are away. Saddington, little handball wide to Fosdyke. It goes to the pocket. Ball thumped clear of Davis. And Nick Davis, who'll be playing full forward with O'Loughlin not in this Sydney lineup, even though he was named to play.
Boundary throw-in deep in the Swans forward half. Barry Hall to do the ruck work. Andy Cracker's had a bit of it already. Goes for a ball down the line. Matthews worried out of it by his direct opponent in Hardigan. And another boundary throw-in.
Kirk going to pick up Kane Johnson. Kane Johnson starting outside the centre square. Kirk inside for the bouncers. But thereafter, Kirk runs and picks up Kane Johnson. Now he's dragging Kirk away from the play here now.
Tough day for football. No ruckman able to possess it. Bevan going to ground. Tivendale with his head over it. He may earn a free kick, Greg Tivendale.
Now that's the right decision, but let's go on with play.
Johnson, handball now to Hyde as the Tigers go forward again. Here comes Richo. Oh, could have hold on to it. On the ground, Gasper overran the footy, had to go back and get it. Bolton there as well. Thumping handball forward. Richo can kick his second in a minute. Kicked it into the man of the mark. And a little reprieve for the Swans, not for long. Fleming
on
to Campbell. Campbell, long ball, looking for Richo and finding him. Good start for the big man.
All right, well, you've got the two situations there. Richo on the lead about 30 seconds ago. He dropped it. He plain old grassed it, and that was only because time out of the game under pressure. That'll come to him as the game wears on. And then the next one, when he kicked into the bloke who was oncoming, when he gathered the ball back again, once again, that was a timing issue. That was time out of the game, but he worked up for his third effort in the space of about 20 seconds. Well done, Big Richo.
Matty Richardson into the breeze for the Tigers' second. Kick on the way. Look at it. Drift. Will not register out in the full.
Not all that bad off the boot.
It looked like a goal off the boot.
Was that taken by the wind, Robbo?
Yeah, that was taken by the wind, Derm. It's actually, as I said, gusting when it comes into the stands there. It's sheltered, but definitely pushing that away from that teeth of goals.
Robbo was nearly taken by the wind, obviously. Long kick to half-back. Big fly, Canelli. Nice hands.
Opposed to Aaron Fiora. That's his direct opponent. Oh, they're on here.
They are. Ball to Matthews. Good movement through the corridor. Barry Hall leads. That's ignored. Davis the target. Ball thumped clear of him. Kellaway, Gasper, Brown. Goods comes at him, corrals him, forces him backwards. Danger here. No, Fiora. No, it's not. It's high, close to the boundary line. Handball, not too bad. Kane Johnson. Bolton can't smother it, and Hilton takes the mark. Half-back flank for the Tigers.
He's run pretty hard. He came from the forward pocket.
Short from that player to Fiora. Did well to break a couple of tackles. Left foot kick down the line, and it's too strong. Broken up.
Setting up sideways here, the Swans. So just don't seem to have many target. Now Davis is free.
James goes to Davis. Kicking with the breeze here, the Swannies.
We've got Barry Hall one out. Campbell will push back.
Looking for Big Barry. Got Hall to beat. They double and triple team. Goods at the back. Saddington. Bouncing ball. Has gone through.
Didn't really do anything wrong, the Richmond defence then. Probably, even though it's only just one easy go. Look, that's a pretty static kick. Everybody is covered. There's extra men there for the Tigers. And it's just a bit of a lucky kick in the end. But they did everything right. Just a classier opponent they're playing against. Do everything right and they still score against you. They might have a few problems.
Scores level. 1 goal apiece. Jason Saddington levelling them up. His father played reserves football for the Tigers. He's playing against the team he barracked for, Saddington, this afternoon. Bolton tries to get it to Matthews. Ottens just crashes straight through. Threads a handball out. Chaffey crunched. Saddington tackles. Ball dropped. They might have to sort this out with a bounce. No, Fosdyke finally got it out to Ball. Now Williams chips a kick wide. Barry Hall's on the move. Went and had a look at Anthony Mundine during the week. Around the body, and that was a nice short pass to Saddington. Did he see him, Dermot? Or
oh, he definitely did. You'll see, catch him in picture here. Yep. Yeah, he definitely went for that. Well, Saddington opposed to Gasper. Gasper, the last goal that Saddington kicked, he crumbed front and centre, and Gasper peeled off him and thought he'd assist on the spoil of the long ball to Barry Hall.
That's what Saddington has ahead of him to give the Swans the lead. Starts it right, doesn't bring it back. Only a behind.
Impressive player, Jason Saddington. Lots of talent wrapped up in that bundle. There's some talent too. Wayne Campbell wearing Jack Dyer's number 17, a new initiative from the Richmond Footy Club out of respect for the greatest leader that club's ever seen. Short goes Campbell. Finds Hall. Massive assignment for him on Barry Hall. His kick down the line looks like it's been called dead. And I think an off the ball free kick. Maybe to Brown. No, it's coming back to Hall. And he gives it off to Brown. Straight down the centre, he's got Kellaway on. Good kick. He's got Chaffey further afield. Will go to him by hand. Chaffey on the wing. Can go inside 50. Richo's one out. Had a good start, the champ. And he's got this one.
It's a good shot here. He's just trying to second guess here. Just such a big body, isn't he? That's a hold. But you notice there with Richo's left hand, he's actually initiating the contact. So the umpire will give Bolton a bit of leniency here in some of these decisions.
Richo for his second, straight through the middle. Great start.
Good kicking. He'd be feeling very happy about himself here, Richo. He could be in line for a big haul. Not the big haul at the other end to come down and play on him, a different spelling of haul. But look, as I say, he really looks back for to initiate the contact, and this is the more important action. He's actually striking the ball pretty sweetly. Even with that one that went out in the full, it hit his foot nicely. What happened to Joe?
Well, he's put a shotgun into this game, and are they spats he's got there, Dermot? He's got some beautiful boots on this afternoon.
Oh, are they the Beckham type things, are they?
Might be. Well, he's firing with a couple of early goals. Tigers in front, and it's been a frenetic start to this contest. Ball gets it down, but to Brown, who handled it to Williams, which was kind. And the umpire will sort it out with a bounce. So Killaway picking up Goods, who's started at centre-half forward. And Crouch has the run with roll on Nathan Brown. Ball slaps it down. Tivendale missed it. Fletcher playing at his third club now. Got it eventually to Johnson, who loops it inside defensive 50. Danger here. Davis does Saddington. Should send it home. Swans back in front.
Well, something needs to be done with Darren Gaspar. He didn't get the job that we thought he was a chance to. He's on Saddington, who is... Well, if Hall's the #1 forward, Goods is the second string forward, Davis is the third string forward, Saddington is the fourth string forward, and he's already had 3 shots at goal, and we're not even at the 10-minute mark. He just is incapable of playing close to a bloke with foot speed like Jason Saddington at this point in his career. Danny Frawley said, you know, he's 9 months out of a knee reconstruction. Maybe it might be time, just not to punish him, but just to say, hey, let's find somebody who's a little bit slower of foot to man him up with.
Swans by a point. Otten's high and then clean possession, gets it to Kellaway. He's unloaded. High to half forward. Kennelly at the back. Didn't get first touch on it, so no mark paid. And we'll have a bounce. I suppose the problem, Dermot, is there aren't too many forwards who are slow of foot in the modern game.
No, you don't want to be recruiting them if they're slow.
Ball did not touch it. Trying to charge his way through Fosdyke. Cracker looked to get a finessing handball. He'll get it back here, Andy Cracker. Had plenty of it early. High, look at the wind catch hold of that footy. And surely a free kick to go to the Swans and Heath James.
Well, if Jason Ackermanis is any indication, Nathan Brown is in for a tough day because Jared Crouch is tagging him everywhere he goes.
Matthews, drop punt to half forward. Saddington hasn't he had a start. Takes the mark and then the handball off. They're building through Williams, looking for Big Barry Hall, almost. Goes to ground, pushed in the back, Barry.
He was molested.
Will receive a free kick.
He had him 2 or 3 times there. Well, this is going to be tough. I mean, Richo's, this is going to be a game of forwards for a change, even though the conditions are very poor. You've got Big Richo at one end, who seems to be dominating, and at the other end, you've got Saddington, who's running amok. Barry Hall looks threatening every time he goes near it.
He's kicking with the rain.
Yeah, this
exactly
will,
what he's doing.
It'll bend it right to left.
He's tucked hard on the line, as you can see.
It's the Warwick Kappa pocket.
Coming from his right. The breeze and the rain. He sets it up, Barry. Hits the post.
So he bent that against it.
Didn't know Warwick Kappa had pockets. No room for any.
They took a couple of big grabs in that pocket right there.
Wayne Campbell to bring the ball back in from fullback, hoping for an injury-free season.
Took one of the great marks up here on Michael Passmore out in that pocket.
Long kick and a high kick. Big fly by Adam Goods. Nice grab that. Gave it to Maxfield. Kicks inside 50. One hand spoil. Ball out to Davis to Hall. Runs into trouble. Out of trouble. Goes to O'Keefe. 45 from goal. Kirk waits under it. Gets a little punch. Umpire said play on. Hall. Fosdyke. Still Fosdyke. Kick smothered. Gathered by Fletcher. And Hyde should get the Tigers out of trouble.
Hilton, his only target. It's a 1-on-4 situation
In the back.
there.
Well done, Rory Hilton. He probably didn't play for it, but he's played in the back, and it was a 1-on-4, as you call, James. Very important ball.
Hilton now with the footy. Stafford presents for him. Hall it was, and nothing doing. Otten's lurking as well, but Hyde, the man short. His eventual target. Fiora tries to step around Goods, ambitious. Now he gets it back, Fiora. Well done as he steps through the centre. Left foot inside the 50, well almost. And Richo again presenting and taking a fine mark.
It still is 50. That's a 45-metre line, don't forget.
Plays on, sits it high to the top of the square. Gasper down there almost. Now he's claimed. Swans defence desperate. Kennelly, handball smothered. Tivendale, back to Stafford. Stafford steps through a couple against his old team, misses.
130 games for the Swans. Greg Stafford has actually still got a connection to the club. Written a movie script with ex-Swan Stephen Carey that he hopes to sell soon. The big man looking for a career post-footy. He couldn't find the big post then. Maxfield.
Fiora's gone back to Saddington now, and Darren Gasper has gone to the half-forward line.
Speaking of X's, Maxfield, 89 games for the Tigers. Long kick in from fullback. Gasper floats into it, can't mark ball. Bevan, Barry, Fosdyke. And now Williams, and they are away, the Swans. Williams looks up, sees Barry Hall. Can't quite half volley it. It's a little slippery at the moment. Campbell gets back in defence, and if he hits Tivendale, the Tigers will be away.
Johnson moves for him. Hilton again. A couple of options for Tivendale. Has to bounce the footy. Now he goes with a long left foot ball. Richo's come a long way up the ground. She's in good touch. Matthew Richardson early in the game. Handball inboard back to Tivendale. 70 out from goal. Broken up in a tackle. Hilton picks it up now. Inside the 50. Cracker. Knocked away from him. Stafford. Hands and knees. Swans defence resolute. Johnson picks it up. Handballs back. Lots of numbers here for the Tigers. Richardson standing his ground. Otten's there as well. Free kick.
Yep. Free against Leo Barry. We'll get a view of it. He's going off his nut. But when you get a view of it, Leo's trying to say, look up here, but watch him. Watch his face and eyes. He never looks once at the ball. That is a good decision.
And this is a tough kick. Into a stiff breeze. Great shot of it there.
These are the best ones for Richo because you get an excuse if you miss them, so your confidence won't
Runs
play.
around, left foot, goal. Great start for Matty Richardson. Got 3.
Well done, Big Richo. And Bolton's got the job on him. They won't move Bolton. I'm pretty sure they won't move him. They'll let him just chip away because Richo's fitness will fall down as this game wears on. So Bolton will get stronger. So Richo really has to start well, which he certainly has done. That you can argue that one all you like. That is all day long. That is a free kick. Tell you what, hasn't he changed the complexion of this team already, Richo?
Tigers in front by 5 points, and here's now Barry saying he was going for the mark, but it's pretty hard to mark them when you ain't looking at them.
And when you're going to punch it, he put up 2 hands. The umpire was trying to mark it, but he actually tried to spoil it with a fist.
Good signs for Richmond. They're kicking against the breeze in this opening term, and Fletcher's playing well. Got a handball out. Saddington stole it. Gave to Williams. Goods is on his own at half forward. He waits and he misses it. Wind just blew it over his head. Fletcher gets back. Fosdyke steals it. They might get out of trouble here. Campbell gave it to Newman, who had a little flick and got it back again. And they've been using this flank well out of defence, the Tigers. Altons. Feet attack at the ball now. Bolton chips the kick inside 50, and Campbell, who's been doing well getting back in defence, takes the mark.
Barry Hall not happy about something.
5th possession coming up for Wayne Campbell. Narity gets off to Fiora.
Fiora 20 out from his own goal.
They've won plenty of the ball. 55 possessions to Sydney's 43.
That's going to land in the hands of the former Tiger Maxfield. He can pump the Swans back inside the 50. Long ball for Saddington. Fist away. O'Keefe falls on top of it. Shovels a handball out. Saddington again. Barry Hall lurking. Ball on the ground. Swanee's in good shape through Bolton to kick a goal.
Well done to Bolton. 5th possession there for him. They've gone inside 50 a lot more than Richmond. But Big Richo with the open ground up there has been able to keep it, you know, in good shape for the Tigers forward to the centre. Just probably a little too crowded in the Swans forward line. Probably too many cooks spoiling the broth. There's too many goal kickers up there.
Swans back in front by a point. I'll check their inside 50 stats shortly, Dermot, because it can be a little misleading here at the SCG as Ottens gets it out of the middle with a handball to Kellaway. Wobbly kick to half forward. Hilton there, ball thump clear of him. Gasper off the deck. They should take it away. Matthews. James wants to come to the open flank. If he can get around a couple of players. Handball option is there. Craig Bolton spots Kennelly, puts it out wide, hoping for him, and he takes a good mark. And they're away with ball on the wing.
Miles of space for ball. Can have a bounce. Can in fact have another. No, he'll touch it on the ground. Kick inside the 50 now. Not well directed. And Campbell, who's had a lot of the footy.
Big Richo chased out to the half-back flank then. He can't get into a jog to run back with Richmond's ball now.
Fiora goes looking for Stafford. Drop one, perhaps he should have held. Johnson comes barrelling in. Stafford gets rid of his direct opponent. Brown's hands were good. Fiora now with the footy. Short one to Tivendale, missed its target. Leo Barry comes charging out, busts on through. Now it's Crouch through the centre. Long ball will find a teammate in O'Keefe. 45-50 out from goal.
A lot of Tigers in the defence here. Barry Hall's going to have to climb against 2 or 3 opponents. They have to honour a lead now.
Here is Barry on the lead, and it's going to get to him. Good kick.
That is well done by O'Keefe. He's the one who controls the situation holding the footy. Barry Hall knows that, I think it was Big Ottens dropping in front of him. You also had Campbell peeled off his man, and they almost set up a mini zone so Barry couldn't get to it and mark it one out at the edge of the goal square. So he had to lead, and the pocket was the only available spot. He hit the post from here 10 minutes ago, so he knows which way to, well, at least start the ball on its journey. Big Richard, geez, was he tuckered out when he ran out and chased out on that wing.
20 goals on the season so far for Barry. That's a better effort.
He's learned.
Right through the middle.
Yeah, good patience. If you have forwards who are willing to work hard and make a second or third lead option to the ball kicker, just hold on to the ball. Someone with the class of Barry Hall as a forward, he'll give you something if you're just patient enough. Joel Bowden on.
Late inclusion for the Tigers. Joel Bowden on, as is for the Sydney Swans Stephen Doyle, who often comes on at around the 20-minute mark of quarters, replacing ball, and he's into the ruck against the ex-Swan Stafford. Ball knocked down. Williams got a toe poke off the deck. O'Keefe, good gather, can't get the handball out. Stolen by Cracker. Son of Jimmy goes wide. Schultz, who's already got one of the marks of the season to his name this year. Long ball, Bowden just off the bench, and fresh. Takes a good strong grab at half forward.
Richard's got room to lead into,
but he won't get anywhere near it. Kick smothered by Eamon Buchanan, and the Swans are away. Handball over the top to O'Keefe. The leads come. O'Keefe might go all the way. Runs to 46 and drives a drop puck out of here.
well, that can't make Joel Bowden feel all that good. He did the right thing, put his body in there and took the mark, but just that lackadaisical approach to kicking in. Some blokes, you know, funny enough, do like to smother the ball. And at league standard, you're going to find a few who do it. They'll turn it over. And what a capitalisation on an error. O'Keefe nails one from 46, just outside the customary 50-metre line, but it's 45 here, so he's kicked from about 46-7. Nonetheless, what a beautiful strike. Joel Bowden, just the turnover there, did everything right, hard at the ball, but then moseyed onto the left foot, and it was smothered, and that was the goal.
Swan starting to make use of this breeze. Williams around his body. O'Keefe involved again. The fist came from Campbell. Saddington, who's been everywhere, overruns it. So does Goods. Cracker. handled the conditions pretty well so far, the young man. Campbell slides in, got to be careful. Gone, holding the footy. Sucked it back in, and the umpires don't like to see that. He's going to argue his case won't make one jot of difference. O'Keefe with the ball.
Now, he won't get the journey from here. Got to remember, he's only about 52 out. Room for Barry Hall out this side.
Goes to the fat side looking for Barry. The fist came from Ray Hall. On the ground. Brown won't get it far enough out of the area.
Well, that's a goal coming out. If he settles here, Matthews, if he just settles rather than think, it's such a mental thing, isn't it, with the 50-metre line, which is 45 here, you instinctively think, I'm outside it, I've got to dish off here. He'd actually be kicking within a 50-metre zone here.
Thought
just
about
settle.
Dishing it off. Now he has settled. Has not kicked a goal this season. Drop punt on the way from Matthews, and he hasn't done it still, because that's a behind.
Form aware of that number 4 jumper would have put it through post height, Dermot.
He might have hit the first awning overhanging.
He's only kicked 19 goals in 117 games, Ben Matthews. Short pass to Nathan Brown. Speaking of goal kickers, won the Bulldogs goal kicking the last 2 years, and now playing a lot of time in defence. Tivendale wide. Chaffey takes the mark, half back flank for the Tigers. He looks up, he's got Kellaway on as an option. That was a beautiful pass. Kellaway long, Richardson's hot, Cracker front spot, Matthews back to defence where he feels more comfortable, thumps it out of play.
Fosdyke to the line. And a player there, Mark Powell, 193 centimetres, haven't seen him yet.
That is some travel sickness, that one, isn't it? Lost its last 12 games on the road.
Ottens down to Bowden. Last minute reprieve for him. Richo sits under the footy. Cracker at ground level. Wrapped up in a great tackle from Kirk. Now the Swans can gather. Numbers behind the ball. Bevan, if he can pick it up, goes to ground and then thumps a handball. Finds Buchanan. His hands to Williams were a little tardy. Williams will pick it up. High ball. The 2-on-1 situation. Ray Hall led it best. Took a good mark.
Aaron Fiora. Short pass is good. Tivendale has that long left foot and uses it to Hilton. Flies. Can't mark it. Brown, it's almost a throw. Chaffey. He go back and get his own handball. And this is danger time. Saddington cuts it off with a fist. Stafford just shrugged the tackle. Gave it to Cracker. Spearing pass to Richo. Strong hands.
Well done. Just thought at this stage of a comeback after 3-4 weeks out, hands like that rarely happen. But he's had enough of the ball already to get a bit of touch and feel of it. And watch this, bang, one touch. Well done, Richo.
What about the delivery from Cracker?
Not bad, not bad at all.
He's got 3, Matthew Richardson, back into the lineup and back in form. Can he make it 4? It's swinging, but it's over the goal umpire's hat.
That's home.
And Richo's back.
Good hit from that man. Richo out on the lead. Read it pretty early as well. A couple of things that are staggering here. His opponent, Bolton, hasn't tried to run off him. No possessions, even though Richo's got 4. And the other one for the Swans, who has not touched the ball yet, Brett Kirk, has not had a possession. Running around on Kane Johnson, admittedly. Johnson's had 4.
Matthew Richardson making a massive statement in the Harbour City. 4 first-term goals from the champ. His comeback game. Centre of the ground, Stafford controlled it. Or charging in hard, Maxfield. In the end, comes to the Swans and Crouch to the outer side. Almost Barry Hall, and then the cool head of the skipper gets it to Nathan Brown, who looks, Dermot, like he's spending some time on the ball.
Yep.
He changes direction. Kellaway's had a lot of the footy. Late stages, first term, Cracker's been very good. Chiseling, bullet-like pass a minute ago to Richardson. Hyde's got it. Tigers look all right. Hyde long, Richo again. Just spilt it. Hits the ground with the footy, ducks around and goes for the short pass for Hilton. Thumped away from that player, and Doyle Gets it back to Saddington.
I'll get out of trouble here. Fosdyke, wide ball. They've got some space. If Davis is quick enough to use it, he's held up. Handball over the top, Maxfield. Now, he hasn't got a lot of options. He'll have to go to Goods. Good pass and an equally magnificent mark.
Got to hold it up here. Tigers have flooded back, so he goes sideways.
Back into the corridor. Buchanan just chips it almost into the back of Davis's head.
That's what his target was.
Killaway, Newman, and now Stafford. They'll work it out of defence.
Not the back of his head, but he expected him to turn around.
Well, it's one way of letting the player know it's yours. Just stump him in the back of the head with it. Stafford to the outer side. Matthews over the top. Bevan sidesteps beautifully, wobbles the ball inside 50, hoping for and finding Davis this time. 48 from goal. Hasn't got a lot of options. Richmond flooding players back. Now a chance for the high, long bomb across the face, and that will be lucky to score. And it is only a behind from the boot of Luke Ablett, who started on the bench but quickly thrust into the action in the last minute or so.
And James has gone over onto Richo now, so Bolton has been relieved of the duty. Well, Otten's resting at full forward. Perhaps they just prefer him. We'll see when he goes back onto the ball whether Bolton gets the job once again on Richo, or whether it's they think no for the rest of the day.
Campbell called to go. Eventually does. Drop punt. Looking for Stafford. Finds him. Makes such a difference to this Tiger lineup when he's available to play. Huge frame. Of course, played for the Swans in the 1996 grand final against the Kangaroos. So he's played a lot of footy. Valuable member of the Richmond team. The drop punt looking for Richardson. He's got about 4 to beat in the air. Matthews takes a good mark. Siren coming. Entertaining first term. The Swannies go in with a lead.
The Swannies just hanging on to it. A 1-point lead there. The Tigers were impressive. Big Matty Richardson came out with a burst. Sorry, the 9-point lead there to Sydney. 5-4 to 4-1. Had the same amount of handball receives. They're running similarly, except for the Swans are kicking a bit longer. Second quarter action underway.
Swans with a 9-point lead. Williams, the left foot kick to Goods. Hasn't had a massive impact on the game. Fosdyke goes to ground. Bevan lurking. Hardigan trying to keep it in there. Doing a pretty good job of it.
I don't know how many games you'd have to go back before you found on the stat sheet Brett Kirk not touching the ball in a quarter of footy. Opposed to Kane Johnson, has not actually laid a hand on it yet.
Bounce. There he is. He laid one on it then. Dermott, he gave it to Williams. Did Kirk. Spearing pass, hoping for but not finding Davis. Back of the pack, O'Keefe from the pocket across the face. It's going to be tough to kick goals from that pocket this afternoon. And Ryan O'Keefe playing his 50th game this afternoon, a milestone, and his career was knocked around a little with the death of his brother in a car accident, but he's having a good year this season.
Tigers outnumber them at this boundary line throw-in.
Chance for the Swans to get one into the breeze. There is O'Keefe around the body with a left foot shot. And it hits the behind post of another throw-in. Yep. Interesting to hear the Swans players there. Dermott calling to Kirk, captain. I thought it was just us that called him captain.
There's the Tiger bench.
Deep in the Swannies, forward 50. Barry Hall, look at that, clean possession, and then gets it to Davis. Breaks a tackle, handball in the Saddington-ish direction. He'll end up with it, Saddington. Sits it at the top of the square. Hall parked under it, almost. Just spilled it at the last moment, Big Barry.
He's taken 3. He's like a big buffalo with a couple of lionesses, tigers hanging onto him there. He is one powerful man.
I'll back the Buffalo.
Buffalo Barry.
bounce. Hall got it out. Good handball. Campbell a little fumble, but now he's away. Takes a dangerous bounce on the slippery turf. Fiora, half-back flank, spears the path, but Kennelly cuts it off. Wanted to play on. Held up nicely by Schultz.
Haven't scored yet, the Swans, in this quarter, but they just want to find a bit of penetration here, the Tigers.
Barry Hall, he just misjudged that. Thought it was going to carry, missed the half volley. Hall, Fletcher, high kick, leaping Leo. Over the top though, Brown. And the umpires paid it to Barry, front spot. Brown had a fair bit of it.
I think he might have got first hands on it, did he? No. Good decision. Well done.
Back goes Barry. Finds James. And he'll take the ball sideways.
And again.
To Bolton. Bolton to Bevan. They work it around to the outer side, almost like a soccer team sweeping from the back. Matthews can go over the top to ball and then get it back. Ducks inboard. Matthews on the wing. Inside the 50, into the breeze. Otten stands up. Ball didn't quite get to him. Saddington involved. Newman there. Sliding in O'Keefe. Tough conditions for football. O'Keefe's won a free kick.
See, I'll tell you what, that was brilliant work by Jason Saddington, because with Big Otten's just dropping back, he forced the issue, brought the ball to ground and showed real courage.
There's the free kick for O'Keefe. Not too many arguments there. Tough to register a score from where he is. So he's looking inboard, understandably. Now he goes backwards. Bevan.
There he is, the new kamikaze. He is as brave a kid as I have seen for 10 years.
70 from goal, assesses his options. Short to Davis, finds him. Swanee's using the ball well into the breeze. Got a handy break. The Tigers have a strong win in the second term. Davis runs around, kick smothered. Chance here for Richmond. Hardigan can pounce on it. Kicks it long in the Richardson direction. Bouncing ball going to get to him, and O'Keefe at the same time was Bolton, and he did it brilliantly.
James, now Matthews, wants to play on and waste no time. Goes long. O'Keefe's on the move, gets there, takes the chest mark. Now they peel off from full forward. Bad kick though. Ottens gets back and takes a safe mark. Brown. He's playing almost a quarterback role this afternoon. Now setting him up from defence. Chaffee wide, a little too wide for Rory Hilton's liking.
O'Keefe up to 10 possessions, and Wayne Campbell's he just got Chris Newman to give him a bit of coverage, and Mark Chaffee out on a wing. Interesting that Nathan Brown trying to go to Kirk. We'll talk about those hits. He's headed that into the back of the net.
Kirk sideways handball was good to Matthews. Now to ball. Ball inside the 45, nearly. O'Keefe or Hall. They had two options.
He's a show from here. This will be about a 40 knot. No, he's stayed back too far. One on
Goods, one out in the square. Just got the class to get his hands on it. And pushed in the back, surely.
Just panicked then a bit, Ray Hall. He just dropped that. He just grasped that.
Richardson kicked one from here, Dermot, in the first term, so it's not impossible.
It's a good shot of it, isn't it?
He'll run around, I imagine, and improve the angle.
That's play on. He's out of bounds.
He's got to go.
So he's out of bounds.
Kick is...
He's out of bounds.
A behind, but I think you're right, Dermot. It's going to come back.
No, he called play on, and he paused and hesitated, and he was still out of bounds. He looked inward, made a step. You can look inward, but if you make a step off your line, that's play on.
You have to
and
bring
if
it
you
in
play on,
straight away.
right, now the thing they would have given him the grace of like a half-second play if he had kept coming that way.
He's not happy about it, but that's the rule, according to the way they interpret it. Campbell finds the boundary line and it's out of play.
Yeah, I wish they'd have gone with that one on Ray Hall last week.
Yes, it would have been a draw. Michael Roberts got his first touch for a while.
Well done, Robbo. Well roved. Isn't this a ring-a-ring-a-rosy here with Kirk trying to get a touch on the ball here?
Umpires picked a free kick out of it all, and it'll go to ball.
Got Williams running for him. The kick wasn't great. Made Williams work really hard. His handball cut off well by Tivendale, who's then put some great defensive pressure on and lock the ball up.
Yeah, we had during the week Nathan Brown with his fashion label, Lenny. They were up here for the Sydney Fashion Week. He and Craig Ellis have the label. And I think Jude Bolton and Brett Kirk were catwalk models for them during the week up here.
9-point lead, the same lead there was at quarter time, so not a lot of scoring in this second term. Tigers, with the use of the breeze, need to start using it. Ball across the line. I want to give you a shot in a second, Dermot, of well, you see a modern-day footballer regularly. There's one man out here who resembles a footballer of about 30 years ago. We get another stoppage. I'm going to show him to you. I reckon it's funny. Ottens infringed. And Ball, the player who will receive the free kick. There is the infringement. Just a little nudge. Ottens sensational for the Tigers last week. Ball goes looking for O'Keefe. He's been very good. Takes the mark. The double attack of Hall and Goods just sits it on top of Campbell. He read it very well, the skipper, and gets the handball back to Kellaway.
And brave he was too.
Goes wide, does Kellaway. Nice mark taken by Brent Hartigan. Spears the pass to Richardson, too far out to score. 4 goals in the opening term. In fact, he's kicked all of the Tigers' goals so far, Matthew Richardson, but on the wing here. Just pops up and attempted a pass and passes it to that lady in the grandstand for Mother's Day.
She moved out to centre half forward now. Stafford's gone back into the goal square as the target in at full forward.
Kennelly to Craig Bolton. Ball peels wide. Bolton ignores him. Goes with a longer pass, hoping for Davis at half forward. He might be first to pounce on this. Boundary line a little too quick for them all.
All right, Dermot, have a look at that.
Yeah,
Big Schultz. He's got the long sleeve jumper.
You reckon he looks like he has just heard the news that JFK is
the 3-day growth.
Shot.
He's got dark boots, no product in the hair, nothing. Fosdyke inside the 50 to Barry Hall. Couldn't complete the mark. And Campbell will pick it up and go sideways and get it to Kellaway on the bounce. In front of Goods. Kellaway further afield. Hilton there. As Kellaway was dealt with a little untidily.
A little bit out of touch, Goods. Only 2 possessions so far.
Hilton to Brown. Brown's sliding mark was good.
Swans drop off now.
Inside the 50, looking for Richo. The kick almost got to him. Got 4 already. Had 5 shots at goal. One of them went out of bounds on the full. So a big first term and a welcome back to football for Matthew Richardson. Campbell and O'Keefe, that match-up at the other end of the ground.
Well, O'Keefe's had plenty of it. 12 possessions. Campbell 10. Williamson, Tivendale.
Played 10 minutes, and with this breeze, Richmond still yet to register a score for the quarter. Williams fires the handball backwards to Matthews. Wide ball, Fosdyke the target, and a precise, very precise pass to half-back. Chip to Saddington is good. Saddington has O'Keefe wide, pops it up. Boundary line was looming, but he took the mark. Called to play on. Fiora comes at him.
Oh, good handball.
Go, go, go was the call to Fosdyke, and he did go. He went and got it. No one to kick to. You heard his disappointment at seeing that. Goods. Back to Fosdyke. Wobbly kick towards Hall, but it's too far for him.
Yeah, wasteful.
Ottens takes the mark. Last line of defence, and they have some numbers peeling wide on the outer side, the Tigers.
One of them's Newman. If he can keep the ball in, he's away. Can go inside to Roach. Started on the bench. Tries to get around. That was ambitious. Coughed it up. Swans now with a chance. Bevan claimed when he didn't have it. Brown picks it up. Desperate stuff at the centre of the ground. Johnson has to stand under it. In the end, picked up by Kirk. Can close in and get a left foot long ball. But Hall, parked back there for the Tigers, takes the relieving mark.
Tivendale's got loose. They won't get to him now. Cracker's the target.
And it won't get to him either. Matthews and Cracker see it out of play.
One of the things that Richmond would have to be happy here, because even though they're 9 points down still, inside the 50s or here 45, Sydney have been inside their forward line 24 times. Richmond only 10 for 5 shots at goal. So they're holding them up, even though they're getting in there regularly.
Stafford palm to Crouch, gave to Davis, handball to Williams, wobbly kick. Bad was bounced, bad for Barry Hall, but not for the other Hall, who kicks it towards half-back. Good little effort there from High, but he was dispossessed well. Ball comes out to Adam Goods. Out of form, gathers, might get himself back into form. Drop punt is perfect.
Now, the Richmond defence are doing very, very well here, but no matter who you are, no matter who you're playing against, if the weight of numbers just comes in so many times, as much as this 25 times to 10 now, eventually they'll get one. They'll get one right. The last 3 times before that kick at goal ended up in a direct Richmond mark.
First score in 12.5 minutes of football in the second term for either side. A goal for Goods. Swans extend their lead to 15 points. Ottens and ball. Ottens won it forward, but beautifully rowed by Williams. Breaks through. Long ball. Here's Goods again with a big climb. Might have interfered. No free. Campbell wraps O'Keefe up and will have a bounce.
Umpire deemed that Adam Goods was attempting a mark and had eyes only for the ball in this attempt. Jumped a little early, but had an out for the umpire. 40 metres from goal. Goods, Ottens, Kellaway. Goods dives in again and he pleads for a free for holding the ball, but doesn't get it.
Now we watch this, we just pan away a little bit. You've got O'Keefe just the goal side of the bounce down here. Wayne Campbell has said to Chaffey, you go and pick up O'Keefe, and see Campbell going back directing traffic from in front of the goal square. He's going to be like a sweeping quarterback. That's why O'Keefe's getting plenty of it, and Campbell.
Goods keeps it alive. Wobbles one to full forward. Chaffey cuts it off. Straight down the middle. Good mark. Leo Barry, he played on all right, as he always does. He never holds it up. Hilton steals it back again. Hacks it to half forward. Not able to take the mark, but maybe getting a free kick was Stafford. Umpire waited to see if it was play onto advantage before he blew the whistle for Stafford to have that free kick.
Bolton thinks it's his because Stafford did hang on to him and pulled him down onto him.
Gives it off to Brown. Brown's short ball will work for Hilton. 45 out from goal with the breeze. So not without a chance. Tigers fans will be sensing they need one. They've had this breeze now for 14.5 minutes and have not scored with it. That's what confronts Rory Hilton. Kicked 3 last week. Welcome comeback to footy for him.
See the Swans, they're playing a zone here rather than playing against an opponent, so Rich has a chance to mark.
Hilton's kick was always a little narrow, had the journey easily. Richmond's first score of this second term. A worried Danny Frawley looks on.
Has one of the most bizarre injury circumstances ever. Rory Hilton twisted his ankle on a puff during the 2003 footy season. Was watching telly, watching Joe Millionaire, and just
stood up and stood on the.
That was it. And it wrecked his pre-season. Kennelly from full back, hoping for ball. It eludes him and rolls out of play. Will get a ball in on the wing.
Is that true?
Yeah, I would never lie to you, Jim. It is true.
Kane Johnson, 0 disposals this quarter. Brett Kirk's up to 3.
Ball knocked down to Bowden. Late inclusion for the Tigers. Wobbles it to half forward. Hilton comes hard. Hands off to Johnson. Spears a pass, and it's a perfect pass to Stafford, who might finally register a goal for the Tigers in this second term, which is now into its 17th minute.
Big Doyle on, as you called it. 15 to 18-minute mark, somewhere in there when possible. I'll throw Doyle on for 10 minutes of footy.
No angle to contend with. Have been outplayed in this second term from the outset by the Swans, but Stafford gets them back.
Good kick at goal for a big fella, isn't he? Nice kicking action. They worked that pretty well. Just need, you probably think that if they're really a chance here, you know that Sydney's will just keep coming at them and keep pushing the issue in the second half. They're a fit team. The Tigers, they key forward Matty Richardson. He'll be underdone as good as he's been so far. They probably need another couple here before half-time.
Richmond with their first goal of the term, with only their third forward 45 entry. Doesn't sound as good, forward 45 entry, Dwayne. It doesn't roll off the tongue as well. Ottens down to Williams, wrapped up straight away.
You would have had a few of the old 45s, though, yourself.
Very happy with 45 here.
Yeah, and you're suggesting the way Jay Schultz is dressed. He probably got a lot of them in there. He probably thinks Patrick Hernandez is #1 this week.
Umpires involved in today's clash. Umpiring standards been good. Ottens and Doyle.
Oh, great tap.
Nice hands too from Johnson. Got it to Newman. Long for Richardson. Got rid of his opponent, but then couldn't get hands to the ball. Another behind registered for the Richmond Football Club.
Getting a few more inside 45s at the moment, though. The Tigers, and they are threatening as we're about to tick into time on. The 1-2 between Kennelly and James. So Kennelly straight down the corridor with a long launch. Doyle flies. Now on with the 20-minute mark coming up. Bevan wide with a handball. Saddington makes it look okay. Handball to Williams, not as good. Forced to backtrack. Now Kirk. Big Doyle. Speaking of 45s, moves more like a 33 and a third. Gives it to Williams. And to half forward, the kick, not a good one. And Stafford all the way back there, cutting it off.
Handball to Brown. Brown massaging left foot kick. Finds its intended target. Ottens at half forward now, just couldn't take it. Hilton at ground level's been good for the Tigers. Wrapped up in a double Swans tackle. Across the line, boundary throw in.
Kane Johnson being taken from the ground. That's not a bad thing at this point in time. He hasn't had a lot of the footy.
So would you call Kirk the winner of that battle so far?
Yeah,
then?
even though Kirk, well, he's such a playmaker. He's probably Richmond's main playmaker in the midfield here. Kirk now has to say to himself, what, do I try and go find the ball? Look at him. I'm looking at Kirk now. He's pointing at Tivendale and say, what, do I take him on as #2 project now? He's a bit lost, Kirk. He doesn't know who to go to. He ends up with Hartigan.
Goes to Hartigan, who has played just the 6 games, so there's a compliment. Kirk and Tivendale fight it out. And stumbling in is Buchanan. Boundary line is Michael Roberts.
Thanks, boys. And just trying to get something out of the Tiger bench. Darren Gasper's been on there. He's got the towel over the knees and the parker on. I don't know whether he's injured or not. We're trying to find that out. But if it's poor form, he's sitting on the pine.
Speaking of the Tiger bench, Roach back on. Tivendale off the side. Buchanan, handball straight up in the air. Ottens has got it, and they've got him. And we'll get another ball up just outside, attacking 50 for the Tigers. There is Kane Johnson. Pretty high price they paid for him as a recruit from Adelaide. Richmond traded Jason Tawney and picks 2, 18 and 31. Now pick 2 ended up being Daniel Wells, and pick 31 ended up being Luke Jericho, who's now playing good footy for the Adelaide Crows. Another pack forms, and we'll get another ball up. But of course, a 2-time premiership player, Kane Johnson, and 104 games with the Adelaide Crows, and he has added some meat to their midfield.
Only 5 possessions today for Kane Johnson. He's had the best run with in the league with him as we look at another ball up about to be effective. But he's been fantastic value for the Tigers. Gasper coming back on now. Hilton comes off. He's going to play forward, Darren Gasper. And like all good backmen who are pushed forward, he actually runs out to pick up his backman.
Young Powell looking like he may get a run late stages of this second term for the Swans. Tivendale did well. Stripped it out of there. Goes looking for Gasper. Ball carries him. Kirk tracks it back, but it's over the line.
It's amazing, isn't it? Darren Gasper, schooled as a backman, and Danny Frawley said, I want you to go out and play on the forward line. He runs out onto the ground and went and picked up his backman who should be picking him up. Such is it ingrained into someone like himself to be responsible, or at least go to a man.
Goods and Ottens. Goods worked it down. Did that particularly well, Bolton. Short kick to Ablett was good.
Have to hold it up.
Stafford gets across and cuts off the long option. O'Keefe and Bolton presented short.
Barry Hall down the line against Ray Hall and Greg Stafford.
Kick may end up working for Bolton. Just couldn't take it. I didn't believe he could believe his luck as it just plopped into his lap, and he was unable to complete the chest mark as the ball was on its downward flight. Stats looking reasonably even. In fact, remarkably even. The Swans with the ascendancy on the scoreboard. Matthews, the handball was good. The forward handball always works to Williams. Williams long looking for the big target in Barry Hall. Couldn't take it. Powell lurking. Might end up on the end of this. Powell left foot shot is just a behind.
8th possession for Williams this quarter. So he is really getting his fair share of the pill here after being pretty well held in the first quarter.
Powell, a late inclusion for Michael O'Loughlin. He's yet to kick a goal in 7 games, Powell. So I'll be hoping he can provide in O'Loughlin's absence. Long kick inside 50 was intended for Richardson, who kicked 4 in the opening term for the Tigers, but the last 15 minutes have been relatively uninspiring from both teams, although given that Richmond is kicking with the breeze in this second term, the Swans will be pretty happy to continue the dead time for another 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
The statistics have been pretty well dominated by both teams that are kicked up into the wind. Richmond in the first quarter and Sydney in the second, and now they've panned out even, as you said, over the match so far.
Brown wrapped up by Crouch, and we'll get yet another ball up. Inside attacking 45 for the Tigers.
Swans will look here on this bounce down to take possession and perhaps feed it out to the back of the pack first. That's where they send their numbers.
Kennelly, third man up, knocks it down. Johnson couldn't trap it for the Tigers. Craig Bolton does for the Swans, goes wide, and Saddington has it at half-back, but he looks up and yet again has not got any options and is held up.
Sees something he likes, and that was the short option to Buchanan. Wouldn't the Swans love to sneak another one into the breeze before the half-time break? Buchanan's short ball is good to Jude Bolton. Jude Bolton chisels his low ball and finds Williams. They've worked it well.
Half smart here because Richmond is setting up with so many numbers down the line, you know, 50 metres away, a full kick away. When that happens, you can always hit a target short pass. Oh, he thinks he's been paid there.
Powell thought that was his ball. Nothing doing, said the umpire. Cracker comes in and was claimed high. No free for him. And we will have a bounce.
The umpire gives you a little bit more time if you make out you think you've marked it.
Yeah, does he? Oh, how could he think the umpire is going to pay that? He stooged the umpy there a bit there.
Bounce.
Yeah, you're right, though. They do, don't you?
Yeah, they do. Well, mate, because the umpire doesn't know whether the player doesn't know. This time Buchanan gets done.
He got one right on the top of the head there with a knee.
Eamon Buchanan over the ball, and that's almost 50. Thomas Roach finally gets the ball given to him. The son of the man who has taken arguably the greatest mark of all time. Ottens to Johnson. Gets caught. Brilliant tackle. And Eamon Buchanan goes back and gets the ball that they took off him. He said, you ain't taking that off me so easily. I'll go and get it back. Well played. That's the kind of desperation that can win you games.
Should come sideways here.
Goes back to Kennelly. 15 seconds and counting. Might not be time enough now for the Swans to score, you wouldn't think. He'll really need to hack this long, Buchanan, and he does. High, they need a mark. Ottens flies! Doesn't take it, but that's good enough. He just had to make sure that Crouch didn't mark it, and that's a good enough attempt to say he was going it. The ball and the ball only. And they'd be a bit disappointed with that term, the Tigers, even though they're still well and truly in this game away from home.
The one thing they would look at, though, Dwayne, is the fact that Sydney have had so much of the ball, yet they're still 8 points within the lead here of the Sydney Swans, who are a good home ground team. Wayne Campbell's rallied the troops. We'll see how he rallies them in the second half. Adam Goods still yet to impose himself upon the game. An 8-point lead here to Sydney at halftime. 6-5-41. Richmond 5-3-33.
The Swans lead by 8 points. Rain continues to tumble here. It's been a difficult afternoon, swirling breeze, but the Swans had that swirling breeze in this third term. Ball in the ruck to try and get the immediate takeaway. Bowden, late inclusion into this lineup. Crouch over it, and we might have to do it all again with the bounce as we go down to the boundary line to Michael Roberts.
Dwayno, it's the blackest it's been. There's a dirty, great big black cloud just about to come over the ground. So pretty consistent, the rain now. The word is from the Richmond rooms is that Kane Johnson had a lot of work on that back. He had it before the game and at quarter time. Interesting to note again that Danny Frawley's decided to put Darren Gasper on the pine. So not in the good books.
Furrowed brow of Michael Roberts gives more indication as to how bad this weather is than any camera shots we can give you. Maxfield kicks long after the free kick, and now it's a free kick. Is there, or O'Keefe?
To Newman.
Oh, O'Keefe took a good strong mark. That ball did clear the pack due to the breeze.
He's really developing, O'Keefe, isn't it? Oh, that's going to go out.
Wasn't a lot in the free kick either. So maybe slice of justice here for the Swans. Saddington waits for the ball.
Look at Brown, Nathan Brown, just sitting in front of the pack there, hoping to just bottle up any lead, crouch his opponent back in the goal square. I don't think we can get the journey out of Saddington right over the back to Crouch.
Had a big start to this game, Jason Saddington. Didn't see a lot of the footy in the second term. Big quarter this for the Sydney Swans. They can put Richmond away with the breeze if they get a run on. Leo Barry now has it. Drops it in short and finds Davis.
Too early on the lead there. Davis is still running backwards. Make your lead when the player is stationary or at least moving forward in a walk.
Mountainous numbers back for the Tigers. So a big
close.
long ball on the line. Goods. Handball back. Buchanan claimed in a tackle from a desperate Tigers defence. And it's gone across the line for a boundary throw-in.
History of the game, there's only been about 6 players who can kick accurately while they're jogging backwards. So you have to time your lead. Can't think of any one of those 6. Maybe Keith Gregg, that type of balance.
Otten's toe pokes it off the deck. Hands and knees getting a little shuffle out with Bowden, but the umpire will sort it out with a bounce. Are you surprised we don't see more torpedoes in the modern game, Dermot?
They're only allowed at either ends occasionally. A long kick in or a long kick at goals.
Hall to do the ruck work. Knocks it down just through the hands of O'Keefe and now through the hands of Davis. And that ball is very slippery. You can't see the rain on your screen, but it has been tumbling down.
Or if you're about 100 points in front, you can rip out a barrel.
You can do anything then.
Kirk's back on Johnson. Work to the front. Swans forward 50. Ottens continues to work hard. Campbell's got to get rid of the ball. He was claimed. Bouncing to Woods' ball. He overran it. Richo did as well. Cracker comes smacking in. Unable to pick it up. Waltzing through was James for the Swans. Long inside the forward 45. Caught behind was Kellaway. Goods collided hard with Ottens. And Kellaway takes the mark and delivers to the outer side. Hilton. Johnson it was. Further afield to Hyde. Hyde in some space.
Touch it down.
Richardson doubles back. The kick's got to go in his direction. Now it does. Richardson one out. Oh, just couldn't complete the mark. And the ball, I think, has managed to stay in. Boundary umpire about 200 metres behind the plate. And that allows the Swans to get it out through Kirk.
Oh, those that are calling for 4 boundary umpires get a little more fodder to throw at the AFL. Davis, O'Keefe, Barry Hall's on the move. Thump into that big chest. Keeps the ball alive. Gives back to O'Keefe. Can he get it back to Hall? Campbell comes at him. Hall just lifts the arms up. Gets a handball out. Topak off the deck. Rolling ball towards Crouch. Dives in. Johnson. Good commitment to the cause. Tivendale. Johnson. They get it out of trouble, but it might be temporary. Leo Barry gets back with the flight and takes the safe mark on the wing.
Got Kirk short. Decides to go to Davis, who's longer. Good sliding mark from that player.
Been given a bit of the hurry up about his dietary intake over the last couple of weeks. Said he improved it. The Swans were worried about his junk food intake. So he was found during the week cooking wedges with sour cream. Thought he was doing the right thing.
Kirk gets it on the bounce. 50 out. Goes for the ball, looking for Hall. Nest of Tigers. Otten's one of them. Coming into lend a hand, Weller. Coughs it up. Buchanan, if he can pick it up. Brown involved as well. Has to be very careful. Barry Hall there. Lots of players over the top of him. Richmond fans and players want a holding the ball decision against Barry. They're not going to get it.
Well, they got the big buffalo down on that occasion.
They did, but they still haven't killed it. Dangerous spot here for the Tigers to try and rush it behind. Just too far out maybe for a knock. And they went for the line. Matthews was there. Big high one. Now, I think it was Buchanan. Has he been taken down too high? He certainly made it look too high. He's holding his nose as if it was too high.
No, he got him underneath the armpit. That was a perfectly applied tackle. Good decision or non-decision, more appropriate. And
Fletcher might see this out of play with a little help from Wayne Campbell.
I think he stayed down because he really did backslap him onto the deck here. You watch the arm comes underneath the armpit and he hands straight to the face. Well done. Good umpiring, good tackle.
Ball back into play. Rain continuing to tumble. Ball difficult to pick up, except for a man of Williams' ability. And that would have been the impossible goal had he kicked it behind.
If Jack Dyer was here watching his Tigers, he'd say it's as black as the black hole of Dakota. It is very dark here.
It's a good old-fashioned scrap at the SCG. The Swans have kicked 4 of the last 6.
Big Jack might be looking down on him.
They may draw inspiration. There's the man that wears his number.
He certainly would have rolled in his grave over the start of this season.
Goes with the drop punt. Almost found Ottens. Desperate tackling from Richmond off the ground, and just pulling it to the left was Jared Crouch.
Gee, he got a bit of thump on that, didn't he?
Bounds on the full as the rain continues to fall. Wayne Campbell to bring it back in. Spots a target he likes, and that's big Ray Hall who takes the mark in front of the Brownlow medalist from last year, Adam Goods.
Ray Hall almost traded and almost walked out on the club over summer. Goes to Stafford, takes a good mark, and then just let Craig Bolton know that he needed to be let go.
He's often aggressively clumsy, isn't he? I reckon he's fantastic the way he does that.
Just ask Peter Everett's jaw, which was aggressively, clumsily split. And we'll get a pack and a ball up at half forward for the Tigers. 42 plays 33. Swans with the breeze in this third term, which is now 8 minutes old. So Richmond have done well. Bowden kicks inside 50, and that's outside 50 now on the full. Free kick will go to the ex-Lion, who was actually from the New South Wales ACT Rams, Craig Bolton.
He goes across goal to James. Runs around. And now delivers the ball nicely to a waiting O'Keefe on the outer side.
Now, I want to come back in if they can.
Down the line and unable to find a teammate there in Leo Barry. Buchanan gets over there. Hilton and Chaffee as well. It's across the line.
Yeah, Ty Kennelly, when I said they'd want to come back in, was sitting inside the centre square all by himself, and he's just thrown up the arms now and said, why didn't you kick it to me inside the square?
Stafford worked it down into the hands of Bowden. You get the sense we're going to see a lot of this. Conditions now very tough for football. Steady, consistent rain and wind adding to that mixture. Some of the matchups we can see around the ground. Williams has been very good. Hyde now with a job on him. There's Matthews with his head over the ball as always. Left foot's a tumbling ball to half forward. Met by Campbell, deflection, who controlled that beautifully. Got it to Chaffee into the centre of the ground. Newman's away. Wheels around. Long direct ball. Standing under it, Ottens. Allowed his player to have a run at the footy. Kennelly will take the line any day of the week. And a boundary throw in inside the Tigers. Forward 45.
Ty Kennelly said the toughest thing in his first year here with the Swans wasn't so much the ball, which he said bounced around like a rabbit, But walking past the travel agents with a tear in his eye, he found it difficult to stay here, but isn't he glad he did? Fosdyke rolls the ball toward the wing. Goods is chasing it hard, but will get a ball in.
Did he not get citizenship or something?
He did.
Similar?
He has become an Australian citizen.
One of the few countries in the world you can have dual citizenship, Australia and Ireland, so he's of both.
Got a little bit of Irish in you too, haven't you, Dermot? Is that correct?
Similar.
Stafford gets the handball out to Hyde. Rolls it along the boundary line. Williams. It's a scrappy, sloppy game at the moment. Kirk dives in and no one can break free. We'll get a ball up.
The only reason I've taken out my citizenship for Ireland is because I want to be able to claim the dole there someday.
Adam Goods' father's Irish too, which sounds a little strange, but he came here to work.
What did he do?
Well, in a job that colour didn't make any difference. He was a coal miner.
Well, he's at the coal face now, as are his 17 mates, because it is a very tough day at the office. Wet, cold, windy, un-Sydney-like weather. Over the back, Hilton thumped it forward. Williams goes back and picks it up on the skates. Handball over the line, taken high. Paul Williams, the former Magpie, will receive a free kick. He goes with the multicoloured boots that are just a part of a player's apparel these days. It's rare that you see a normal pair. Fashion creeping into not only Fashion Week here in Sydney, but the players' daily wear, as Bevan was nowhere near that and it bounced across the line. More boundary throw-in work for the umpire to do. Andy Cracker, who had a big start but has been quiet ever since.
Yeah, he's really tapered off. Only 7 possessions for Andy Cracker. Got about 4 of those in the first 10 minutes of the first quarter.
Lights just warming up here at the SCG, and maybe this game needs a bit of warmth because it's gone cold in this third term. The scoring certainly has. It was 41-33 when we started it. It's now 42-33. It's only behind scored in 12 minutes of football. Kennelly. Kirk, who was held before he got it. How will the umpire adjudicate this one? It'll be a free to Kirk at half-back, and this rain, it's getting heavier by the minute. We'll go down to Robbo shortly, just so he has to stay out in it.
Kirk, short ball. Won't see too much of this, you wouldn't imagine, as the rain gets heavier. Matthews.
You won't see too much of Robbo.
Pumps it long. Barry Hall in front. Has it fisted away. Ray Hall's done a good job. Barry Hall goes back, tries to pick it up off the ground. Bowden now. Handball forward. You wonder who these conditions are going to favour. Tivendale inside the 45. And he finds big Matthew Richardson. Kick 4 at this end in the first term.
I tend to think, James, it's going to suit Richmond. The Swans are a better skilled team, better placed than Richmond in most positions on the ground. So if they can just stay with them and then hopefully pull something out somewhere in the last quarter.
Richo for
That's
goal
close.
number 5. Close to the man on the mark. Kick looks good. It looks very good. Richardson's kick 5.
This is a great result for the Tigers. It definitely will suit the Tigers. They're probably, you know, 4-goal better team, the Sydney Swans. But that's a good lead. I mean, good carry through the middle here. But he kicks it virtually underneath his armpit almost. So close to the man on the mark. So the rain will even up the skills factor. And if the Tigers can show a bit of that spirit, they're in it now. Can they hit the lead?
A happy Richmond supporter under that blue hood. 5 of the 6 goals the Tigers have been kicked by Matthew Richardson, and it's a 3-point ball game with the Tigers coming home with this slight breeze. Bowden over it, Kellaway over it, Bevan over him, and the umpire over the lot with a whistle. Continues to thump down this rain, and that might actually take some of the zing off the breeze. Newman finds it difficult to pick up, gets the handle on it and rolls it toward the boundary line, and that's a pretty good result still for the Tigers. Powell and Goods, a change for the Sydney Swans, so a small error for one of the tools.
Tigers are resting Ottens now, James.
Yep, they got Big Schultz back on. Doyle leans over the top and slaps it over the line.
Michael Roberts, what is it like down there? Because the rain's continuing to tumble.
It is, and got the coat over the head now. It is pretty wet, I can tell you that. It is soaking us, and I tell you what, it's just that hard slog out in the middle, everything off the deck.
Well, in the first quarter, the Swannies lined up with Goods, Hall, Saddington, O'Keefe, all in their forward line. Now, Barry Hall is the only one over 6'3", 6'2" in the forward line. They're all small after that.
Stafford went in search of Richardson, and why not? He's kicked 5. He was unable to take the mark. The disposal getters, Williams, has been terrific.
Yeah, all since quarter time. He was pretty well held out of it until then.
Doyle wins it down to the front. Matthews has also been good. Handball straight to Stafford. Working forward, Johnson. Left foot kick off the side of the boot. And that is out of bounds on the full.
And you really need your kicks to count in this difficult conditions for football. A short pass to Bevan. That one counts. But he's held up.
This is a man apiece. He's got Crouch on in the centre square, but it'll take a very accurate kick. Not with a wet ball.
16 minutes played, 8.5 plus time on remaining. To the outer side. Doyle now on, couldn't break free. Johnson couldn't break free. Davis rolls it to half forward. O'Keefe attacks it hard. But yet again, the slippery ball eludes him. And we'll get a ball in. Just the Swans side of the outer wing.
She's been impressive, O'Keefe. Wayne Campbell's got, you know, a fair few disposals against him, 15. O'Keefe 17, but virtually playing off him, getting somebody to come back as we see another bounce to be affected, or throw up once the ball's wet. Yeah, Campbell plays on him, but once he can get like a stationary play, he'll call somebody else onto O'Keefe, and then he'll play off himself. Free kick on the throw up here.
Danny Fawley with his heart on his sleeve as always. Swans will get a forward 45 entry, and that is a dangerous kick. And it's marked by Barry Hall.
The big difference there is, in a one-out battle, he's able to, in the wet, just go for a chest mark. Now, if he has another opponent around him, he's forced, obligated to mark the ball at its highest point, and in the wet, that's too hard. So if he can go one out, he can chest mark in those.
For his second goal of the day, and he's got it.
Gee, there was some penetration on the kick too.
So still got some carry that, Breeze.
Yeah, wet ball here, but Nick Davis is a thumping kick of the footy. Look, if there's another player around there, their arms aren't occupied with the grapple there, so they can come over the top and spoil. So he would have to put his hands up, but left one out. He can mark it on the chest in these conditions.
Sydney Swans lead back out to 9 points. We're not far away from ticking into time on. Ball up in the middle. Doyle v Stafford. Tackle laid by Crouch. The umpire said it was a good tackle on Nathan Brown, and we will get another ball up. And it's getting a little sticky in the middle. One of the few grounds that still has a cricket pitch during the football season. Doyle slaps it wide. Bowden gets a kick away, but it wasn't to anybody. It was to the boundary line, which is still a reasonable result for the Tigers. Jude Bolton and Adam Goods preparing to come back on for the Swans.
The curator here, Tom Parker, does a terrific job. One of the great draining grounds in the competition. And even that centre wicket area is pretty playable considering how strong the breeze is. Players belting in on top of it, so we'll have a ball up. Completely relayed the SCG a couple of years back, and universally regarded not only for footy but of course for cricket, because it is a cricket ground, Dermot, as one of the great surfaces players enjoy playing on. Thumped out of play by Doyle.
That'll be why it's called the SCG.
That's it.
Sydney Cricket Ground.
That's it, mate, just in case you had some concerns about its name.
Let's find out while we've got a little bit of a break on play. How's your hairstyle down there, Robbo?
Not much at the moment, Doom. It's pretty well covered up. I'm glad those lights have come out. As I said, there was a dirty, great big grey cloud coming over, and there's a black one behind it, so not real pleasant down here, mate.
Brown kicks inside, 50, free kick. It's against Richardson. And it'll go to James. It's okay, Robbo, you can tuck that hair in for dry cleaning during the week. James chips it wide. Kennelly. And he dropped the mark. Umpire blew the whistle and then called play on when he dropped it. Kennelly chips the ball, hoping for Buchanan. Ball not clear. Well played, Schultz. Laid a big hip and shoulder. Knocked 2 over. Big chance here. Tivendale. Kick inside 50. Hardigan. Schultz again goes hard at it. It's almost as if the rain's brought a smile to his face for his style. And we'll get a ball up just outside attacking 45.
You would have just about felt that one, Robbo. You're only 5-10 metres away.
I love that. This is my weather, Doom. You know, that little bloke's fantastic.
Richmond desperate here to try and get one through. They come home with the breeze, the Tigers, so if they can stay in touch with the Swans, you never know. They're still within 10 points. It's been a hard slog on Mother's Day in Sydney. Ottens and Doyle to do battle. So much of the ground now very wet and hard to stay afoot. Brad Ottens will pick himself up again.
The umpire's even commentating, knock it out there. Trying to tell the players what to do now.
Almost to Matthews. Johnson with a forward handball. Terrific to Tivendale. Great defensive tackle. Hyde tried to go off the ground and gave away a free kick. Kicking in danger, which is not something you see regularly. Buchanan will take it.
Saw Andy McLeod last night almost take somebody's head off with one. And you know what? It was the recoil foot, the back of the heel on the way down that clipped him.
They're going to the open side, the Swans. Buchanan, James, and now Matthews. And all of a sudden, the side's not as open as he thought it was. Back to James. Short pass option is on, but he goes longer. Out of side wing. No mark to O'Keefe, and now Richardson can pump it long. Arrogance with a bounce. Goes with a drop punt. He's hit that off the boot from 60. And here come the Tigers. Richardson's got 6.
That is some goal.
That was exciting, wasn't it? Charging through the middle here. Well done by Chaffee. He's accepted it just 5 metres forward of the wing. Oh, his foot is inside the centre square. So get it on the carry? Yeah, get it on the carry. It hits the fence. Foot inside the centre square there, on the run.
One of the great sights in footy, Matthew Richardson at full flight. Have a look at this. He has a bounce. In wet, tumbling conditions, unloads with a 70-metre drop punt, bang.
He doesn't overkick it though, does he? He just keeps it underneath and lets momentum go through it.
He has kept his side in this contest by kicking 6 goals. Otten's clean possession, not allowed to do that. Suddenly the game's gone up a colt, perhaps not in skill because the conditions won't allow it, but certainly in intensity. As Crouch with the ball. Spots a player, Buchanan, who missed it. Tivendale picked it up, got it to Brown, wrapped up in the Buchanan tackle. Campbell picked it up, kicks it to a one-on-one, Kennelly and Roach. Kennelly took the mark very, very well. The Swans now feeling like they need to counter. Maxfield thought about going, stands his ground. Just 3 points in it. The Tigers will come home with the breeze.
See, Stewie just nod with the chin up. He just tilted the head back then. That was to Barry Hall saying, no, give me another lead. I wasn't ready then.
Goes to Powell. Young player slides in. Takes the mark. Good kick out from goal.
There's 15 Tigers inside defensive 50 here. No wonder they have to hug the boundary.
Should he have gone to the top of the square then, Dermot?
Your wet weather, it's probably going to just... Well, I suppose you'd be hoping for a snap, but when the snap eventuates, it'd be from a pack of a dozen players, which is very difficult to get it through, but it's a better option than the one that came out.
Barry Hall does some ruck work illegally against Stafford. The ball will come back. 3 minutes left in this third term, and then the Tigers will come home with the breeze. High kick by Ottens. Out of side, ball thumped clear. Just right in the tackle, but not well. Bowden Picks it up off hands. Goods flies at half-back. Can't mark it. Good steal by Fletcher. Richardson inside 50. He could have 7 to three-quarter time. He could have 7 of 8. He goes over the top. Gasper's in the goal square. And Gasper gets a rare one. And the Tigers are in front.
Thought it might suit the Tigers this weather. It's just brought that skill level. When you think about it, a couple of chips. There was one little chip kick out of the middle to Wayman Buchanan on the front side of the square. There was the kick out to O'Keefe in the forward pocket where Sydney hit those targets normally. The wet weather has pulled their ability to find targets back. And the Tigers still playing their normal game. Bang.
Gasper with career goal number 19, if you don't mind. Fletcher did brilliantly well to keep his feet. Sucked it around the corner. Richo's got 6, had every right to go back and kick his 7th. And then he just thought, I'll have a look. And oh, Gasper's lurking. Pinpoint pass. And the All-Australian fullback has kicked one from point-blank range. The Tigers have hit the front, and they have the breeze in the final term. It's all set up as Nathan Brown is wrapped up. And we'll have another ball up in the middle. Exciting stuff for fans of the Tigers who haven't had much to celebrate. Start of this season. Neither ruckman able to control it. Fletcher came through again. Picked it up and left-footed it around the corner. Oh, courageous mark from Kirk. Going back with the flight, terrific.
They're going very wide, the Swans. Normally they do like possession, they will go wide, but what they can often do at this ground is chip back into the midfield, inside centre square, and they get good penetration and run through there. They haven't been doing that in this quarter.
Fosdyke finds Goods. Chance here for a late Swans score in this third term. High kick inside 50. Hall was there. Chaffey there too. Gives the handball to the captain. Campbell caught. Back to Chaffey. Hacks a kick away from defence, and the mark's been taken by Roach. Slightly built, but put his body on the line there, and then he had to. Goes wide to Ottens. They're a chance here again. The Tigers. Gasper's free on the wing. Hit with the pass. Long kick. Richardson's on the move. And he's got it. Did he juggle it across the line? He held it.
Been sensational, Richo. Goes for the long ball. Number of players parked themselves under it. Jude Bolton now wrapped up in the Bowden tackle.
He wasn't brave, Matthews.
Great result for Richmond, and you're absolutely right, Dermot. He was and always is one of those footballers who never takes his eye off the ball. One down by Ottens. Johnson and Cracker lurking. Cracker goes to ground. You sense he did that purposely. We've got another disputed ball situation.
Now, he is very good when the ball hits the deck from like these static areas. Little Andy Cracker finds himself on the end of a lot of crumbing footy when it's wet.
3-point lead to Richmond, kicking into the breeze in this third term, and a chance now to kick another one and really make it interesting. Hardigan, handballs into a wall of Swans. Maxfield couldn't control it. Campbell could, steps around a couple. Handball back. Broken up. Hardigan got it to Campbell. Campbell with a standing start. Drop punt. Richardson to fly from a couple back. Couldn't take the mark. Ground level footy. Swans under siege in their defensive 45.
What a good contest by Matty Richardson. Watch this for a big leap. Just lucky for the Swans. Leo Barry got the left hand, just a fingernail on it.
Time enough for a palm down and a snap here. Ball knocked down, and Fosdyke was the recipient of the Ottens palm, and that might see us out to three-quarter time. But the Tigers have come from being behind at both quarter time and half time. They were 8 points down at the long break, Richmond, and they have a spring in their step as they head in for the three-quarter time huddle. Richardson, the man, he has 6. Roos with the job ahead. Richmond 8-3-51, Sydney 7-6-48.
It's important times now for the Swans. Can they respond? The Tigers lead it by 3 points. Ottens couldn't control it out of the centre. Slapped into the turf. Williams And this gives us the break we need to go to Robbo.
Boys, and that's exactly what happened. Paul Roos, I've never seen that before. He actually spent most of the time in the huddle talking to the main group instead of splitting up. Quite animated, most of it directing at Adam Goods. Danny Frawley, red in the face, really gave it to the group, so both coaches pumped up for this last quarter.
Crouch long to the top of the square, dangerously here for Richmond. Hall, so good in these situations, controlled the ball back, but his handball was astray, and Newman was taken over the line.
The Sydney Swans.
Scuffle breaks out.
The Sydney Swans with a loss last week on the road. If they lose this week, they've got a big one next week. They've got to travel to the other side of Australia. Subiaco they go to.
Ball back into play. Kick from defence by Fiora, rolling, tumbling and coming hard. Both Matthews and Gasper. The umpire said play on, boys. And the ball out of play. Will get a ball in.
He's given them something after half-time, Gasper. I mean, hasn't been a world beater, but he's just charged at the ball. Let's have a look at this again.
Bit of crowd action there.
Yep.
Well, it is Mother's Day.
Want to be very careful.
And look at the Tigers might have a go at Nick Davis. You careful, son, you might get one back.
Ball back into play. Kellaway, Bowden, High, Gasper and Barry fly. Bevan the crumb. Every possession ultra valuable at the moment. Ball close to the line and Schultz decides he might just drag it across.
Well, the possession count, Richmond turned it around in the third quarter again. They won more of the loose balls. They won more of the hard contested balls. More handball receives. Little doubt they outscored them by 2 goals.
Ottens wins it to the side. Johnson slides in. Brown's pickup was great. Chaffee onto the boot. Here's Gasper standing under it. Schultz involved as well. For the Swans, a couple of good players. One of them, Williams, gets it to Bolton, claimed in a tackle. Ball wrapped up. And we will have a ball up. They just need some belief and some composure here, the Swans. Universally tipped to win. Most people tipping them to win comfortably. They're really being put to the sword here by the Tigers. Ottens only as far as Kirk. Now picked up by Fosdyke. His kick forward off the side of the boot. Well done, Kellaway. Beautiful pick up from Newman. But the kick, that was okay. Just landed inside the field to play all over boundary throw.
Well, Bolton appealing for the free. And the crowd letting the umpires know that they thought the Swans should have the ball as well. The two ruckmen locking arms, Ball and Ottens, both had a piece of each other. Williams had it stolen from him by a Hyde. He was hiding and he took the ball away when no one was looking. Gave to Brown, inside 50, ball thumped clear. And we'll get a ball in about 40 metres around from the Tigers' goal. Have a look at this. Now, it's pretty much out of bounds on the full in most people's language.
How did he miss that?
Because the ball has to be all the way across the line to be out of bounds.
Yep.
He looked as on the line as he could be. Matthews trying to inspire from defence. No one to kick to. Goes to space. Race on. Bowden will get there first. James, a little nudge. Bowden accentuated it. The umpire didn't fall for it. And we will get a ball in outside attacking 45.
So that one with Newman, you're saying the goal, the boundary umpire said no, it was out of bounds before he kicked it.
And he'll be happy that you've really let everybody
that is
wasn't
terrible.
so sure know that that's exactly the mistake he made.
Brad Ottens tried to get the fist away. The ball only went as far as Nathan Brown, and he was wrapped up. Robbo, what did it look like from where you were sitting?
That's exactly what the umpire said. He said it was out of bounds before while the player was actually kicking the ball. The ball went out of bounds on the full, but he was out when he was kicking.
Was it, Robbo? Was it out?
It was out.
It was out.
It was out. Gee, I thought a fair bit of it was still in. Oh, well, you're closer, Robbo, and so is... Robbo.
Lucky you took up playing and not boundary umpiring, Robbo.
He's got that jacket so far over his head, Robbo. He's
Can't
able to
see.
see just as we speak.
Oh, no, he's pulled it back there, Robbo.
Roundhouse right. Crouch on the up to Kirk. Kirk around the body with a bouncing ball to Matthews. He's wrapped up in a Brown tackle. Stumbling it forward off the boot was Crouch. Unable to possess it, Campbell. Desperate conditions. Desperate players. Hardigan around the body. Really, really high pill, this one. Saddington went flying for it. Cracker's pickup was good. Johnson's hands were good. Campbell claimed from behind. Play on the call. Umpires have put the whistle away.
They're getting a couple of good ones going their way here, the Tigers. It's all rolling for them. That ball was grasped by Wayne Campbell.
Well, he had prior opportunity.
Well, that's what they've been playing all year.
Or did he get a kick?
Oh, gee. You reckon?
Well, it was either holding the ball or pushing the back, you would have thought. Or did he not know which one to pay, so he said play on. Now, free kick to the Swans here, they'll be happy.
If he kicked that, that ball definitely was in.
Ball. Has ball. And kicks it long and high.
It's coming back at him.
Campbell. They all were wanting to shark it front and square. Turned the wrong way. Fosdyke to Williams. Can he get his way to attacking 50? Kicks a centering ball to Hawks. Oh! Well, he had a couple to beat, and he outread both of them.
It is easier up here, and perhaps Aaron Fiora, and he is an imposing man, but Aaron Fiora had to wear one here. For his team, he really had to wear one, and as I say, it is a lot easier up here. No one would like to run at Barry Hall, but for his team, if he had a worn one, they're a big chance to go all the way.
And Barry Hall puts the Swans back in front. Early stages, final turn.
What a good kick by Paul Williams on the non-dominant side of the body, though. The handball was a bit hot and had a bit too much heat on him for these conditions. And that is a beautifully struck footy, and he's just run right underneath it and probably thinking that I'll get split in two by Barry Hall. Sometimes at a certain stage of a match, your teammates are going to love you forever if you run back and wear one.
Barry Hall with his third goal as Hyde comes from the ground, and that's where that third goal came from. In the end, a comfortable chest mark for the big forward. The Swans are back in the lead. Their wet weather footy's been questioned of late, Dermot. The style.
They go for so much, the impossible kicks. They're such a target team, They honour short leads and the likes with free kick to Brown. The wet weather reduces your skill level.
Brown goes in search of Richardson. Why not? He's got 6. Going to ground James. Cracker there as well. Cracker goes back and gets it again.
That's
desperate stuff. And now he's trapped in a headlock from Bevan. We'll have a ball up.
That is a good pack of footy, isn't it?
Well, does it accentuate your skill level? I mean, if you've got exceptional skills, maybe you're the one that continues to retain them in this weather.
Yeah, if you're Peter Dacos.
Players on hands and knees, people with sure hands. One, grabbers rather than fumblers.
Yep.
Ball up. The two ruckmen grapple themselves to the ground. Williams, Jude Bolton, Williams again. Boundary line looms. And they might just drive it across. It's still alive now. The boundary umpire gets his chance to earn some pay.
Gasper coming off. Hilton back on.
We've played 8.5 minutes. Final term, 14 minutes plus time on remaining. And still a slight breeze blowing to the Richmond end. From the ball out. Bolton slides. Fletcher had him. Hilton, Barry, straight through. Goes hard. Gives to Maxfield. Kicks the ball to the wing. A race on. Davis doesn't win it. The ball skids away. Almost accelerates after hitting the turf, the ball, and will get a ball in.
Swans clinging to a 3-point lead. They went into the last change down by 3 points.
Big Starfield.
Worried gentleman in that box. John Longmire, the former North Melbourne champ in the centre. Run down by Stafford. Crashing in Johnson.
Stafford, he came on then. Ottens went off. Probably for about 3 seconds, went through the interchange bench. Schultz said, no, you take my spot up forward, so Ottens came straight back on.
Got the use of the breeze in the final term. Robbo, is it still blowing as hard?
It's not blowing as hard, James. Not at all. It's actually dropped after that rain. Actually, Schultz is a bit mad here coming on and off that interchange bench, so I dodged the ball again. Pretty tough in the clinches now, boys.
There's Robbo in the bottom of shot there, bottom right-hand corner. Hey, lift your hand up, Robbo. There we go.
Got his own little square.
Still blowing slightly toward this.
Oh, look, this is a wrestle between these two.
And the Tigers are kicking. They wrestle themselves. Greco-Roman ruckwork.
Yeah, the ruckwork is a catastrophe. You allow that stuff to happen.
And we'll get a chance to have a look at it again. On zoom our
Have a look at
cameras in.
this.
Yes.
Now, the ball hasn't even been thrown in. Now, is that ruck work?
Here they go again. Ball. Thumps it. Bolton just overran it ever so slightly. Fletcher seeks the sanctuary of the boundary line.
Good decision. He's tackled, he's got to unload, and he was actually facing that way circumstantially.
It's his 9th season, Simon Fletcher, 3rd club, Geelong, Carlton. And now the Tigers. Stafford plays for the free. Ball slapped it down, and the umpire said it was a throw. Free kick to Stafford. Gives it off to the running Roach. High kick, he didn't look. And it's all the Swans. Leo Barry at half back.
Can build from here. Got Goods breaking wide for him. Ignores that player.
Probably going to have to come out this side because everybody else is spread too far on the other.
Bowden, the second up. Fist to Newman. His hands were good. Hardigan down the line. That's a good kick. And Hilton in some space takes the ball. Richardson goes now. Now he stops and goes back. The kick tough for a forward to mark. Ottens tries to keep it in. Unable to do so, but that's the right end of the ground for the Richmond fans. And they need one after the Swannies kicked the first of this final term.
That's that skill area you're talking about, Rory Hilton. He tried to pull the kick. It's a wet ball, and it'll just keep sailing or skidding off the boot if you don't put it right in the middle of the top of the foot.
The wrestle on again. Fletcher. Brown. If anyone can kick one from anywhere, it's Brownie with a bit of magic. And the Tigers are back in front.
That's the classic example, isn't it? Rory Hilton, the time to sum up, cannot hit the ball correctly off the foot. That's just an inherent thing. Yet Brown instinctively accepted and unloaded within the space of 1 full second, yet he knows exactly where to place it onto the foot. That's that difference between skill you're talking about that elevates the class players.
Nathan Brown, as the Tigers have kicked 5 of the last 7. Have a look at how he completed their 9th goal. Got the crumb straight off the centre of the boot and straight through the middle of the goals, Dermot.
See how he pushes Crouch away from him, knowing that he's going to get the ball back.
Heads bobbing at the SCG. Tigers back in front. Almost a push. Nothing doing, says the umpire. Brown's going to get it.
He's lifted, got the most possessions on the ground now, and he's had a run with tag all day. It's not as if he's been given, periods of respite.
He's directing traffic, telling Richo to get back where he belongs at the hot spot. And that's where the kick heads. Otten's there as well. Kennelly keeps a cool head, pumps it out of there. Only as far as Hardigan claimed when he didn't have it. No free kick, and Fosdyke streams away. High ball from that player. Chaffee's got to stand under it. Well done. Lots of courage.
That's what you got to do. Well done, Mark Chaffee.
Handball away from Chaffee. Fiora now picks it up. Steers it towards the members' side. Hardigan in space out here can pick it up. Got a player on short, ignores him. Gets around Goods. Long inside the forward 45. All the Swans back there. Ball just belted into Leo Barry.
I think he was cannoned by Ottens. The Tigers are a massive show here. 3 points up. It's not as if the Swannies are going to finish with a wet sail. There's a replay on the push.
Bit of a shunt.
They've stopped running, the Swans.
And the Tigers are a chance here. Fletcher got a tiny little nudge from Kennelly. Not enough of a nudge according to the umpire. And we will get a ball up past Stewart Wynn.
They're playing static footy, the Swans. There is no run to receive. Any little chip kick they do to put somebody into space is out on the boundary lines, the longest way home.
One last week by a point, the Tigers. They can scrape home in another fighting, season-rectifying effort this afternoon, perhaps. Ball out of play. They lead by 3 points.
Lost their last 12 road trips, the Tigers. Will it be lucky 13?
Ottens and Ball to resume hostilities. Danny Frawley with a bit of tape on the phone. Someone must have broken that in recent weeks. Cracker can't break free. Hilton does. Shows some toe. Goes the banana across the face. Only a behind.
Four-point lead to the Sydney Swans, to the Richmond Footy Club, I should say. The Sydney Swans into the breeze. and plenty of work to do.
Well, this will show you if they're a chance or not. The way they move the ball here, they might have to chip short. If they just chip short and then look to honour up and just give little chip passes hereabouts, you'll be able to tell they won't win this game. If they get to run past, receive handball, they'll be going all right.
Kennelly kicked to himself, then went to Goods. It was broken up by Matthews. And Hilton wraps Goods up and throws him over the line.
Doyle on, ball off.
Still in the forward half for the Richmond Footy Club, who lead it by 4 points.
Hyde coming on.
Roach coming off the ground for Richmond. Falling to the back, and the dangerous Brown gets it to Tivendale. His kick inside the 50, at the feet of Cracker, picks it up and misses from 20 out.
Oh.
Just enough pressure from Bevan to put the kick off, not enough to give away a free kick with a push in the back.
Well, Paul Williams, he's probably going to just try and tap it on his foot and play on. He's got Ottens on the mark, and he'll fancy himself to run around him, or at least buy a bit of space, get 10, 15 metres away. There we go.
City was paddling in the one spot at Collingwood, and he wouldn't be playing now if he didn't move to the Swans. He kicks to Kennelly, and it's out of play. 16.5 minutes played. Final term, 9.5 minutes remaining, plus whatever time on in that 9.5 minutes. Ball back into play. Big thump by Stafford. Gets it all the way back inside 50. Race on. Bevan, Cracker, Jude Bolton, Brown taken out of play by Crouch. And you can see the water trickling off our cameras here at the SCG. It's been bucketing down, and the Tigers have enjoyed every minute of it, every millimetre of it.
Brown and Cracker, just the sort of forwards, Dermot, you need in these conditions.
Oh, yeah.
Low centre of gravity, highly skilled individuals, and they are presenting some problems for the Swans. No whistle from the umpire, so the ball comes to the back. Won by Goods, breaks a couple of tackles, then stripped to the ball. Bouncing towards Brown, hands so clean in the wet, gets it to Campbell, around the body from that player. Thumped forward by the Swans defence. The smother was great from Tivendale.
They are just having a real dig here, the Tigers. They're winning more of the ball. They're running onto the loose ball. A little bit pacier than Sydney out wide, and the Swans are chipping the ball out wide when they win it.
Hard to get it out of the Tigers forward 50 at the moment for the Swans. Bevan, he's claimed.
Something would really need to happen unusual here for the Swans. Otherwise, this one's lost as well.
Would make it, as I mentioned at the start of this term, 3 in a row for a club that had a ripping start to the season.
And the hardest road trip coming up next week to Perth.
Ottens to the side. There's Johnson. Got the good hands to Hilton. Now to Brown. Brown. That's not his best.
No, that's that wet weather footage. Yeah, it separates the, what do they call the chaff from the wheat.
And a point would have been handy then. It would have turned a 5-point lead into a 6-pointer.
Oh, the old handy point.
Is it too early for handy points?
Oh,
The ball's been stuck in this pocket for about 8 minutes. We've got another 8 to go.
Sydney, what are they? They've kicked 3 goals since quarter time. So you can't see them coming home with a flurry.
But a goal would still give them the lead. Matthews, long to Doyle. Got hands on it. Couldn't bring the mark down. Fosdyke, Goods, Kellaway, boundary umpire.
Doesn't have too many of them, but it's been a dirty day for that man on screen. Has not been able to get any rhythm into his footy at all. Doyle and Stafford trade blows. 2 big boys. Doyle to the front, well done. Fosdyke around the body. Campbell and O'Keefe. They've had an interesting tussle. Saddington tries to keep it in. Can't do so. And there will be a boundary throw in.
Plenty of the footy, Wayne Campbell, 20 possessions.
There's that wrestling going on again.
Got about 3 in then, Doyle too.
The Richmond ruckmen have been fantastic in this second half.
Jude Bolton up high, slaps it forward. Can the Swans get it going forward? Finally. This might help them.
It's touched. Has the umpire picked it up?
Yep.
No.
Out in the full. So
hang on.
Conferring now all 3.
Yes. Well,
It
that's
has
all
been.
right. The correct decision has been found, even if the field umpire didn't. Oh, look at the rucking.
Hard to tell. Goods over the back. It hit the back of his arm. Jude Bolton sliding in. Desperate last man standing stuff. Crouch trying to go off the ground. Maxfield now in some space. Sits it up high on the head of Barry Hall. Campbell comes back and takes, in the end, quite an easy chess mark.
Took his eyes off it, Barry.
30 out from his own goal, and he goes to Chaffee.
Chaffee's got some space, but he might elect to hold it up. He does.
See, they're running a lot better, the Tigers.
Good captain's effort by Campbell getting back. Fletcher's been good. Gives to Tivendale. Can kick long. Does kick long. Richo. Ball just eludes him. It's off Craig Bolton. And was it off his knee? Ball will be tossed in. Richo giving a contest and a little push.
Gee, went down easy, James. Oh, when the game's in the balance here, blood rule here with Fosdyke coming off. He got a fair bit of claret coming out there, Robbo.
Oh. He certainly has. It's amazing when you got a bit of a wet face how much blood comes out, but he'll be okay. It's just a bit of a nick over the left eye.
Go down and stitch it up yourself, Michael.
That's when we need Doc Peter Larkins on board to take control. The Swans
Not even allowed to staple them on the bench anymore, are you? Got to take them inside.
Got his hands full there, the doctor. So, really dangerous times these for the Swans. Inside the Tigers' forward 45. They've got the breeze. We're inside the last 7 minutes, and they lead it by 5 points.
There's the Swans runner saying, pull back, get the numbers back. That's Brad Seymour, former player.
Free kick. And it's going to go to Cracker. Danny Frawley, the veins bursting in his neck, but Andy Cracker will receive the free kick after he was legged. And now they have that chance to go from 5 points up to 11 points up. There it is. It's been a fairly well umpired game, this one. The umpires have put the whistle away in the last 20 or so minutes, but they picked that one out. And Andrew Cracker, who's kicked 7 goals this season, will not have an opportunity to kick a more important one for his footy club. Perfect view of it. Kick on the way is a behind.
Well, Danny Frawley, no wonder he was nervous. He just picked up the bottle and went to have a quick swig out of it. But that nervous, he forgot to take the lid off.
Goal of the difference.
There you go. Yeah, now we'll take 2.
Maxfield kicks to himself. The Sydney chant roars around the SCG. Big pack flies off hands. Jude Bolton gets a kick away, but it's all the Tigers waiting for it. They can raffle it. Chaffee. Fiora. Can he hit a target at half forward? Hilton and Richardson. Hilton provides the shepherd. Richo gets the ball. Gives to Hilton. Close to the boundary line, and across the line it goes. We'll get a ball in. Outside attacking 45 for the Tigers. Free kick.
Downfield. Didn't see what it was for, Robbo. I think it might have been a push after the disposal.
Yeah, it was on Rory Hilton, I think it was. So Kane Johnson actually gets the kick in the pocket.
Well, we talked about the handy point from Cracker, making it 6 points. Gee, if they could score it behind here, Dermot, it would almost make them unbeatable.
Just about unbeatable the way they're playing now. So when the Swans came forward to the centre, how many Tigers were lined up behind
Johnson looks inboard and finds Richardson. How did he get that open after that long?
Oh, James was trying to second guess the long kick to the goal square and just let him get the break on it. Heath James allowing a 5-metre burst there from Matty Richardson and just pulls away from it. Well, trails out behind him, but could never get there because the kick was so good.
What a comeback from Matthew Richardson. He's kicked 6, 4 of those in the first term, kept his club in it in the first half. Now he can seal it with a straight kick. Drop punt on the way. He has got it. They're 2 goals up, the Tigers.
Big Richo. Oh, they're kicking more goals. They're running better. They're receiving more handballs. There you go. That's the down the field incident, which supplies the kick. They're winning more of the uncontested possessions. The ruckmen are contributing to more clearances. They're winning in every area.
Paul Roos has to orchestrate 2 goals at least for the Swans to be able to pinch this one back. Ball off the bench into the ruck. doesn't get the knockdown. Crouch doesn't get the ball. Brown slips it to Stafford. Now Cracker. Tackled by Bevan. Handball out to Brown. Inside 50. Getting back Matthews. Hardigan couldn't get there quickly enough. And the Swans with a scoreboard and time their enemy now. And Tiverdale cuts off the pass.
Still another clearance to the Tigers from a centre bounce, which puts the Swans on the back foot straight away. And they straight away put about 15 men in their defensive side of the ground.
Tiverdale to pump the Tigers forward again. Richo put a good lead in front of him.
That is a very good lead, but Tiverdale doesn't decide to go with it.
Now he goes to the lead of Ottens, who didn't even know the footy was coming in his direction. And it's over the line. Not a bad place to be, though, for Richmond Footy Club fans. This is the lead we're talking about. It'll come eventually from Richo after he waves his arms around a bit. 12-point lead to Richmond. Bolton dealt with severely. Craig Bolton picks it up. Only as far as Tiverdale. He takes the mark.
Oh, he's got the journey. Oh, a wet ball.
But it's only a 45-metre arc. It took the mark on the line, which most people think, well, that'll be a tough kick with the line there. But he's only kicking from, well, 49.
Well, you sense, Dermot, any score will make it impossible for the Swans. If he scores a point, they have to score 3 goals to win it, and that will be tough to do in 3 minutes of footy.
Yeah, absolutely. The glaring stats here, hit-outs in this last quarter, Richmond 18, Sydney 6, and handball receives, Richmond 18, Sydney 7. They're just running a lot better.
Greg Tiverdale, drop punt is on the way, and that is a very valuable behind. We say it so often, but that is now a 13-point lead and a big task ahead of the Swans.
Oh, Tigers back in Victoria, crank out, start celebrating because they've only been inside forward 53 times, the Swans, this quarter.
And Kennelly's kick is a shocker. It's all Richmond around this ball. Ball tries to make it hard for Bowden, who slips a handball out. Brown, Stafford, he wants to seal it against his old team, goes with the big long launch, and Kennelly gets back and marks on the behind line. No score.
Cannot get the ball over the centre line at the moment, the Swans. Long in search of Williams. He's got Richardson to beat in the air. Did it well, Williams. Handball on the up to Crouch. Crouch bursting forward, looking for Barry Hall. On the bounce, couldn't control it. He'll get it back here, Barry. Desperate Tigers defence. Campbell, who's been good, wrapped up.
That is the first bit of run you've seen from the Swans in the midfield for this entire quarter.
Swans, last roll of the dice. They must convert.
Inside 50s there. Sorry, James. 4 to 15 shows you just how dominant the Tigers have been.
Thumped forward by O'Keefe. Courageously going back with traffic there was Ray Hall. Tigers defenders keeping their composure. Callaway tumbles it out of the area. Has earned a free kick. Time running out for the Swans. And what a famous victory this will be if it happens for Richmond. Last week, a 1-point win when the club was on its knees over Hawthorn. Now to travel to Sydney. Many considered it an unwinnable game, and they have done themselves and their club proud.
Short pass good to Newman. What a difference a point makes. Last week, had they lost by a point over Hawthorn, you just wonder how the week would have changed. Hawthorn had a horror week after the loss. Had Hawthorn have got up by a point,
as Danny said, they win by a point and people start saying, oh, he can coach.
Ball to the outer side. Matthews tries to thread a handball through Brown. They might just keep this in. Ball toe poked off the deck. Rolls all the way towards half forward. Craig Bolton gets there. Gives to James. No pass options. Close to the boundary line, and that'll just about do. Free kick. Good tackle laid. And the free kick goes to Brad Ottens, who can take his time. Can this get the Richmond season back on track, Dermot? 2 wins in a row. They've got the Bulldogs next week at home.
Well, it's such a tough game to win this one. And mentally, they've jumped a huge hurdle here. It's the first one they've won on the road in 13 outings.
Long to Stafford. Just couldn't hang on to the ball. It's across the line. But we're down to 1:45. They're 13 points up, the Tigers. And you sense from here that they will go on and win. How important has Nathan Brown been this quarter? When it mattered, he stood up with 11 disposals, and most of them have been clean and very good. He also kicked a goal, and there he is again. locking it in. Danny Frawley will be relieved and I imagine very proud of his players to come here and win. Takes some doing. Ottens to Kirk. Johnson and Ottens involved now with Kirk at ground level and Brown. And those fans there have travelled a long way to see their team climb a big, big mountain.
Ball up. Just playing out time now before the Richmond celebration begins. Jude Bolton to the outer side. Tigers with numbers behind the ball. Richo has been fabulous this afternoon. 7 goals. And he goes with a short pass and an opportunity here to just milk the seconds off the clock. And you would think it'd take as much time as possible. 40 seconds and counting, 67 to 54. And yes, they are milking the seconds for Eora. Less than 30 seconds now. And the Swans, they led at the first 2 changes and they looked as if they were going to put a big space between the 2 teams when they opened up well in the first term. But Wayne Campbell, who's been good this afternoon, Derm, as the captain of this side.
He's just been a steadying influence, hasn't he? O'Keefe got away from him a bit. And Campbell delegated other players who flood back into defence to play on O'Keefe, and that gave Campbell a bit of freedom and almost plays like a sweeping quarterback. The Tigers have done it for the first time in 13 outings interstate on the road. They come away with a win. What a great game for this club. This was just about the certainty bet for the round. The Swans at home against a team which has been pretty poorly performed for the season. They came away with a 1-point win last week, but that man came into the team, Matty Richardson, and did he give them something up forward?
Well, they had all the aspects this afternoon. Toughness, dedication, they had cleverness when the rain fell, they had spirit, and they just had a good old-fashioned will to put their body on the line and get hurt for the cause.
No doubt about that. I mean,
7 goals to Richardson, 4 goals in the opening term, and he really kept them in it when the Swans looked like breaking away.
This game turned, the further it got through, the more the Tigers put their stamp. Well, there's Danny Frawley. He's still got the worried face on. Well done, Danny. Well done.
Okay, let's go down to Michael Roberts. He's got Matthew Richardson with him.
Yes, and I pinched him out of the Tiger huddle, and Richo, what a comeback. You wouldn't have dreamt that. 4 in the first and ended up with 7. Sensational performance.
Yeah, got a few fell my way in the first quarter, but it's just a good team effort today. GF1 just had a real crack. It wasn't great conditions out here. It was slippery and rainy and windy, but it's good to get a win when you come interstate.
Were you playing on adrenaline that first one up? You've been dying to get out there, haven't you?
Oh, look, it's been a tough month watching. It's been well documented, so it's pretty keen to get out and have a run around today, and things worked out okay.
So important to put 2 on the trot, a nail-biter last week, and to win this one. This is a famous victory for the club.
Look, we've been under the pump as much as any club I can remember in recent times, and to come out and get a couple of wins on the back of that's great.
I'll tell you what, the only way to silence those critics is to win games, isn't it?
It's the only way you can do it, Robbo.
Well done, buddy.
Thanks,
sensational.
mate.
Now, Danny Frawley responded, Dermot, to a gentleman in the crowd. Do you think he should have just walked on, or do you think he's copped enough in his time
look at this,
over the last fortnight?
The bloke on the right has insulted him and then goes for the cover-up. Does he put out the hand to shake? Frawley says no, and he points to security, and, well, he's not taking any notice of him. But you're in your office. Somebody's right there, you know, 1 metre away. It's just disrespectful. There's only 16 coaches in the land. They all should command a fair bit of respect.
You don't know what the gentleman said.
You don't?
And there is a breaking point. Enough's enough at times.
Yeah, it might have broken a little bit quicker had they not won tonight, but well done. He's coached well today. He has coached very well.
I would suggest that he's forgotten about it already, Dermot. This is the most important victory, I reckon, for the Richmond Footy Club in 2.5 years.
Yeah, well, how long does that go back for the Tigers? They've lost the last 12 on the road. So, well done to the Tigers here. They played superbly, though. I mean, as the game wore on, they got better and better and better. Nathan Brown, the game-high statistics winner, with 28 possessions, and he was backed up pretty well all over the ground after half-time. But it was the Tigers with a glorious win, a 13-point win here to the Richmond Footy Club, 10-7, 67
to Sydney, 8-6, 54.